I can't believe I agreed to watch another trash recommendation, especially after last time. But here we are, presented with none other than My Life as Inukai-san's Dog. Unlike the previous trash anime that shall not be named, I'd actually heard of this anime and how horny and weird it was. And despite that, I was not prepared for how insane this anime gets. Let's jump straight into this dumpster fire. Episode 1 probably has the worst first impression of any anime I've seen. We spend most of the episode with the MC in a grating voice, complaining about how cold he is, and how confused he is about how he's a dog. Inukai-san, our closeted furry and love interest, bites and licks the dog's nose. I did not stutter. She bites and licks the dog's nose, which I already thought was strange enough, but we go even further and get a scene of her rubbing the dog all over her nether regions. Yep, within 12 minutes of this show, we have already violated animals so much more than I'd care to see. And yes, by the nature of this show, I'm going to have to do a lot of censoring and describing things and showing things. I may even have some random gameplay going in place of showing anything, because when I tell you this show is horny 100% of the time, I mean it. Had I not been forced to watch this, I would have shut it off halfway through episode 1 and been done. But sadly, I had to proceed and learn just how horny this author was. Episode 2 continues the trend of the MC inching me closer to the mute button with his repetitive and annoying voice, and Inukai being too horned up over a dog. She licks his nose again and proceeds to be fairly normal, taking him on a nice little walk around the neighborhood until she decides to get excited over him getting ready to pee. I fully expected her to lay down and open her mouth as a urinal, but instead we get a slightly more normal reaction of being horny and filming him peeing? We juxtapose this with some superficial "we're so close yet so far" exposition that does nothing for the story other than a brief 5-second break from Horny Town. I wrote something about the ending being annoying, but I really can't remember what it was, and I don't really care to look back. So, going on to episode 3, Inukai had some kind of injury while walking, so the MC wanted to fulfill this dogs lick their own wounds to heal garbage that Inukai was talking about, so he proceeds to lick her toes. This awakens a fetish for Inukai that will come back to haunt us viewers later. Back home, she invites her friend Nekotani to study, and she gets jealous when she even looks at the dog. So, like any rational person, she stubs her toes so he can suck on them toes again, causing her to experience euphoria and ask the dog to explore the land down under. Oh, I forgot to mention, while all this is going on, Nekotani is just watching her and actually calls her out on how weird this is. Nekotani, if you're watching this, you are the best girl in this show. Which isn't saying much because the bar is so incredibly low. Nekotani leaves, and all is well again. Hold up. Why is Inukai dressed in dog lingerie and trying to seduce the dog? Oh, we don't get to find out because the episode ends here and cuts to a live-action ED of schoolgirl feet running around various locations. Why? I have no earthly idea. We return to mental institution levels of insanity and learn that Inukai just wants to get closer to the dog. And honestly, I have to give the MC props here. He isn't getting himself off at the thought of doing anything with Inukai. And I can only imagine how insufferable this would be if Kazuya from Rena Mid was the dog here. He also doesn't want to be a dog anymore, which is shocking, since he's getting a full pass to be up close and personal with Inukai in more than one disturbing way. He starts planning an escape, but we don't get much of that because Inukai wants to get her rocks off over the dog licking her hand. Episode 5 is the feet episode because there's just so much feet. He gets a chance to escape, but he stalls so insanely long that he almost doesn't make it out the door. We then get to witness his secret technique of fondling Nekotani's breast to get thrown off the balcony to his own room next door. This brought up a new question. Has anyone been looking for him? At this point, it has been a few weeks, and since he's a high schooler, I'd imagine his parents, the school, his friends, the police, anyone would be panicked and looking for him. But we get no indication of that. Wait, never mind. His classmate Tsukihiro, his fellow plant lover, is here, is worried about him, is tending to his plants, and stimulating her no-no square on the corner of his desk while screaming his name. Bleach, bleach, now. Put it in my eyes, right now. In a giant bout of stupidity, and to finally get this plot moving somewhere since we've done nothing the last 5 episodes, he leaves with Tsukihiro after witnessing her violating his desk. Honestly, he deserves anything that happens to him now, and the way Tsukihiro is looking at the dog, she might actually perform the birds and the bees with him. When they get home, Tsukihiro collapses after being too cold in the rain, so the obvious thing to do is to have the dog strip her down and cover her in warm clothes. This dreadful sequence is made even worse since the girl is having a wet dream about the MC. And the voice actor is giving it her all here. Why? Maybe this was her big break or something. If so, I am so sorry. You need a new agent. There's some stupid MC head talk here about choosing between Tsukihiro's love as a human and Inukai's love as a dog. But it's inconsequential, it's meaningless, it does nothing for me, it moves nothing forward, this is just a horny anime about a dog. He gets an epiphany in the next few episodes, jumping to crazy conclusions, like maybe I ate some chocolate and that turned me into a dog because my science classmate Anari gave me some chocolates. There's also this weird contest between Inukai and Tsukihiro where they spread eagle, tell the dog to come home to their little garage that Cardi B once sang about, but I am so tired of this and just want to reach the end. The dog goes to school, finds the scientist, gets seen by the class, and Inukai tells him to beg for mommy in the middle of class. I guess it's more appropriate than telling him to come home. I mentioned something about Nekotani smelling like hot dogs, so stray dogs chase her into a pool, but whatever, it makes no sense, does nothing for the story. But, in the midst of all of this, after so many episodes, we finally get an answer as to why Inukai is so horned up for this dog. You ready? You better sit down for this one. The big reveal is... she used to have a dog when she was a child. It was her best friend. And then it died. Yeah, no, that explains nothing. Oh yeah, Nekotani also starts to think that the dog may not actually be a dog for some reason. I don't know. But, amidst all this, for a single episode, we turned the horny down and we get a more grounded story about how Inukai has this cold personality at school, but is oh so cheerful at home. We got some introspection on the MC reflecting about his own personality at school and how he wants to help Inukai become more open. This is what the show should have been. You could have had a comedy that had bits of seriousness about concealing personalities and being scared to be yourself in high school. I'd even let you get a few panty shots or fan service scenes in and be okay with it. But no. We throw all that potential away to write about high school girls setting up a dog cafe with their specialty being a doggy foot bath and proceed to have 5 minutes of every girl in the school getting hot and bothered by a dog licking their feet. Okay, let's finish this garbage. How do we wrap up 12 episodes of dog abuse? Well, we learn he has been a dog for 2 whole months, and no one has looked for him. Inari also has Inukai's house rigged with security cameras, so she could watch everything. Now, the cure to end this nightmare. Get Inukai to French kiss the dog. Honestly, pretty tame after what we've seen so far. But the MC has this big ethical dilemma and is so concerned about doing that to her, spouting some garbage about taking away her first kiss. He resolves to do it, but only if Inukai initiates the kiss. Remember this. He will French kiss her if she initiates it. He leaves Inari, runs into Inukai, and she has this heart-to-heart with him, and proceeds to give him a real kiss. And he turns back into a... Oh, no. He doesn't kiss her back and decides to stay a dog. So what was the point of saying you do it, you stupid? So we end the anime with nothing resolved, other than vowing to become a human again. Even though we already had the chance. Honestly, I'm baffled how literally nothing progressed over the course of this anime. We learn nothing more about the experiment, have no real development of any characters, and are left with nothing but nightmares about what Inukai did to the dog and what Tsukihiro did to the desk. Is there any redeeming factor here? It didn't overstay its welcome, I guess. Having only one season, so I guess congratulations? You know when to stop? And the art honestly wasn't bad. There was production value here in the art and voice acting. How it got so misplaced, I don't know. And it sucks that the talent was wasted here. As it is, I would give it a 2 out of 10 for the art, voice acting, and at least keeping me wondering how much more insane everything could get with each episode. Maybe that's being very generous, considering there's nothing of value outside of those things. But considering I have seen bottom of the barrel garbage, I can say this isn't the worst thing I've seen. But there is still room for that to change, as the anime only covered 16 chapters of the manga. So you know what that means. We open the chapter to Tsukihiro shoving the MC's... I cannot get through this. This is stupid. We open the chapter to Tsukihiro shoving the MC's recorder into her lady tunnel. Oh god. This is going to be infinitely more horny than the anime. I'll spare the play-by-play here, since it's just more of the same. But I will say the anime completely changed the events at the end from the manga. In the manga, he doesn't kiss Inukai, but he then runs into Tsukihiro doing that, and ends up kissing her and transforms into a human. Nekotani ends up finding out. They form a pact to get the human MC close to Inukai, so she loves him while also continuing his role as the dog. Nekotani offers to kiss him every day to transform him back and forth. We go through this setup for several chapters, having the lines blurred between human and dog, with the MC acting like a dog in public while human. Once again, there's a whole chapter dedicated to feet! He gets forced to drink breast milk from the source to transform, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to milking Inari dry. There's a side plot of Inukai viewing the human MC as a dog whisperer, so she asks him to become his pet and be treated like a dog so she can learn how to care for her dog better. Rational decisions made by rational people. She goes as far as to having a collar put on and being walked around like a dog. She starts to get feelings for the MC for some unknown reason, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to getting off while being shaved on a rooftop like a dog. We finally get the coveted beach episode, but it's honestly meaningless in this series where we get full nudity in chapter 1. We learn Inukai was a legit dog lover and was shamed for it as a child. And this experiment's grand goal? To traumatize Inukai so much about her love of dogs that she loses all feelings for dogs and becomes normal. It makes absolutely zero sense, and there's no way you could have figured this out. The MC just spouts this conclusion randomly without any thought and is magically right. Inari has some fetish for science and her comrade has something for phones? I don't know, it's so confusing and stupid. And while all this is happening, Inukai pees on a tree like a dog and the beach plot resolves. Hand claps for all, I guess. Back at school, someone exposes Inukai for loving dogs, which prompts our MC to reveal to the class that he loves being treated like a dog. And instead of being laughed at like any sensible person would in high school, we get a montage of people revealing their own fetishes. Armpits, ears, pee, and nostrils being caves that guy wants to climb into. Right. First time for everything, I guess. This resolves all too fast, everything is normal, nobody makes fun of anybody, and everyone holds hands and sings Kumbaya somehow after that. Inukai feels closer to the MC over their shared weird fetishes, and this prompts her to ask him if she can deep throat a toothbrush as she brushes her teeth like a dog. Nekotani also gets in on it as a way to express her feelings for the MC that she has surprisingly fallen for. Next, we're admiring the dog's long tail as if it were a man's sword and making comments on how big it is. For some reason, Inukai lets human MC feel her breast at school and almost strips down for him too, and I'm just wondering, where are the teachers with all this happening? What? How are they getting away with this? Finally, we reach the climax, where it is revealed the MC gets heart palpitations because the transformations are too much on his heart. He only has days before he permanently becomes a dog, so Inari is working on the cure. We raise the stakes even more by having his time reduced to 24 hours for an unknown reason. Inukai has some big revelation that she loves the dog and human parts of the MC, and she gives him the pill by performing mouth-to-mouth with the dog, because how else would she do it? He wakes up, hears all three girls confess to him, and he picks Inukai his lover. Honestly, I was rooting for Nekotani and hoping there was some way he could end up with her, but no, we choose the dog lover because of course we do. Now, Inari gives him a pill that he can take that will forever take away the dog's transformation, which I thought would already have happened since it was so dangerous to him and could make him a dog forever, but I guess I don't know anything. I can't track the story, I guess. But what came next is the most epic and shocking ending to a series I have yet to see. It turns out he didn't take the pill, so he can still transform. The final chapter is called Our First Mating, and Inukai is telling the main character she wants to have coitus with him. They strip down, he accidentally kisses her, but she says no. Let's keep going. So in dog form, he has coitus with Inukai, and there are far too many pages depicting it, and showing the aftermath of the room with Inukai saying, "Next time, let's do it in your human form." Close scene. That's the finale of the manga. I can and can't believe that this exists. It's shocking that someone thought this needed to be drawn, and that this was a story that just had to be told. In the end, we learned it's okay to have sexual relations with a dog. Shouting out your fetishes in school is cool, and it's possible to still be friends with someone who violated your desk and recorder. I think the biggest issue, aside from the obvious, is the potential the story had to be a comedy about being a dog that was thrown away in favor of capitalizing on this fetish. The art was great. There were some funny moments that got a little chuckle out of me, but it's largely overlooked by the pure insanity and questionable things drawn here. But despite all this, I think my score is going to stay a 2 out of 10 overall, just barely escaping a 1 out of 10, because I at least had some brief entertainment here and there. The art has actual value. It doesn't feel like a cash grab. But make no mistake, it is trash. It is a heaping pile of dog-loving trash. but it is not the absolute worst thing I have ever seen. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to where hopefully I have a less offensive, less horny thing to review.